All right, so it looks like you are on lesson 6 today, and it's called Distributive Property. And so what I'm going to show you is how to essentially get rid of brackets in an expression. And I've got a comparison here. So I've got this one example, 2 bracket 6 plus 4, and I'm going to use BEDMAS to eliminate the bracket. So BEDMAS says to do what's inside the bracket first, which would be 6 plus 4, which gives us 10. And so now we have 2 and then 10 in a bracket, and that means multiply. So we're multiplying 2 by the 10, which gives us 20. So that's one way of solving this expression here. Now, what if we used what's called a distributive property? The distributive property says in order to eliminate the brackets, you're going to multiply everything inside the bracket by the number or the term that is in the front. Here it happens to be 2. So to eliminate this bracket, I'm going to multiply the 2 by the 6 and also by the 4. So 2 times 6 plus 2 times 4. 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 times 8 is 10. And if we add those together, we get 20. So 2 different ways of solving the same expression. So I'm going to focus on the distributive property today because we're going to be introducing variables. So the rule is multiply every term inside the bracket by the term in front of the bracket. So here we are multiplying a monomial by 2 terms inside the bracket, so 2 other monomials. Okay, so it's a times x and then a times y, and that eliminates the brackets. Next example, so here we have 3 multiplied by 4x minus y. So we will multiply 3 times 4x and 3 times negative y. And notice how I'm showing my step of what I'm doing. 3 times 4x is 12x, and 3 times negative y is negative 3y. Okay, and I've just eliminated the brackets here because we have a positive and a negative next to each other. When that happens, you can make that a negative sign. If we have 2 negatives beside each other, we can make that one big positive. For the next question, I'm going to move that monomial to the front, so it looks like the other questions that we've been working through. So you're multiplying 8 times 5 and 8 times negative x, which gives us 40 plus negative 8x, which is 40 minus 8x. And the last one on this page, x times 2x, and hopefully you remember your rule for multiplying 2 monomials. If it's the same letter, we add the exponents. So x times x would be x squared. So we end up with 2x squared for the first term. And then we have x times y, which is just xy. Example D. So now we're multiplying a monomial by a trinomial. So the negative 2 will get multiplied by every single term inside that bracket in the same way as I did in the previous few examples. So there's our 3 terms. And so now negative 2 times 5a is negative 10a. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4b. And then negative 2 times 3c is negative 6c. So it would have said, I could have had another step in here. It could have said plus negative 6c, but that plus and negative will just make one subtract sign. Okay, so here we have just adding a binomial with another binomial. We can just eliminate the brackets here and then collect like terms. There is no value in the front of either of those brackets to multiply through. So we're just going to remove the brackets and then collect like terms. And I've got the ones that match circled. The 3x can be matched with the 9x to get 12x, and the 2y will get matched with the 7y to give us 9y. Notice when we're adding terms, we're not changing the endings, right? When we're multiplying, we do, right? So like on the previous example here, we multiplied x times 2x, we got 2x squared. The ending changed, we added the exponents. That's in a multiplication. When you add terms, you do not do that. You just keep the endings the way they were. Question F. Another monomial multiplied by a binomial, and then it says minus and then bracket x squared minus 3. This is the same way of writing negative 1 multiplied by whatever's in that bracket. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 7 is 14x. There we go for the first two terms here. And then over here we have negative 1 times 6x squared, which is negative 6x squared, and negative 1 times negative 3, which will be positive 3. So there's my last four terms. And I'm just checking to see if I can group any together. And it looks like we can. We have a 2x squared and a negative 6x squared. We can definitely group those together. 2 subtract 6 is negative 4. So negative 4x squared, and then we have a 14x and a plus 3 at the end. Question G, another monomial multiplied by a trinomial. Okay, so negative 4x squared times 2x squared would be negative 4 times 2 is 8, negative 8. And then we're adding the exponents on the x's. 2 plus 2 is 4. So I've got my negative 8x to the fourth from this term over here. The next term would be negative 4x squared times negative 4x, which I have written here. And if you multiply those, negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. And then add the exponents. You got x squared and x to the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. And the last term, negative 4x squared times 3, is going to give me negative 12x squared. And then we're just checking, do any of them have the same endings? They don't, which means we can't combine any of the terms, but we do have a plus and then a negative next to each other, so we can combine those for one negative sign. Question H. Okay, another example. So lots of examples, and you're doing the same thing over and over, right? Multiplying the terms inside the bracket by the term that's in the front. So essentially it's like multiplying one monomial with another monomial again and again. So if you had some trouble or you didn't do one of the lessons that where I taught you how to multiply monomials, you might find this a bit confusing. So you want to make sure that you've done lesson 3 and 4 completely, and 5 before you get to this lesson here. Okay, so I'm just doing my 3 sets of multiplying. I'm going to collect like terms here at the end. Before I do that, I'm going to multiply by monomial. So 3 times 2 is 6. Add the exponents on the a. So we have an a squared and an a. So a cubed. And then b, and b will give me b squared. And so on. So there's my 3 terms. And can we group any of these together? I don't think so. We have an a cubed, b squared, a cubed, b cubed, and then a squared b. So we can't group any of those, but we can change some of these signs. If we have 2 opposite signs, it's going to make a negative in both of these spots. And so that's it for those examples. The second example I have, and this is the last one, is it's a small word problem. So we have a rectangular field which has a length of 4a minus 7 meters and a width of 3a meters. We want to find a simplified equation for the perimeter and the area. So I've got my diagram labeled here. I'm calling the 3a my width and the 4a minus 7 my length. So for perimeter, you're going to add all 4 sides, right? So it would be 4a minus 7 plus 4a minus 7 plus 3a plus 3a. And then collect like terms, group them together. Another way of writing the perimeter would be to realize that you've got 2 L's and 2 W's. Okay, so this is the expression that I'm going to use, and what that means is I'm going to multiply my 2 times the L, so 2 times the length, so 2 times 4a minus 7 plus 2 times the 3a. Once I've done that, I'm going to eliminate these brackets. So I need to multiply everything inside the bracket by the 2 up front. So 2 times 4a is 8a, and 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. And then over here at the end, I did 2 times 3a, which is 6a. And now you can collect like terms. So 8a plus 6a is 14a, subtract 14. So there's my simplified expression. You could have also just written out the 4 sides, like I said initially. So 4a minus 7 plus 4a minus 7 plus 3a plus 3a, and then collect like terms, and you will end up with the same expression. For the area, I'm going to multiply my length times width. So 4a minus 7 times 3a. And in the next line, I just switched the 3a to the front. So we have our monomial in the front. And now I'm multiplying 3a times 4a minus 7 to eliminate the brackets. Okay, which gives me 3a times 4a is 12a squared, and 3a times negative 7 is negative 21a. And that is my simplified expression. All right, so those are your examples. So make sure you've got a copy of those. Look back on those when you're completing the homework. And these are the questions that you will be completing. I added a copy of that into Google Classroom. All right, good luck. Let me know if you need some help.